Do you know there's certain things that you should know how to get a location agreement signed? Stay to the end of the video and I'm going to give you the tips and tricks how to get those location agreements signed. Hi, I'm Phil from PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind group page, and I help hundreds of aspiring ATM business owners go from 0 ATMs to ATM Business Pro in as little as 30 days. Always remember, here at PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind group page, we buy your freedom back one transaction at a time. So without further ado, the top 5 counter arguments when you're trying to sign an SLA or a location agreement. Point number 1, now pretend I'm the store owner. Phil, I don't sign contracts. Now, here's my counter. All right, so do you own the building? And they would say, no, we rent. I would say, so you signed a contract with the landlord, didn't you? And he said, well, yeah. And I said, I looked outside, you have some garbage outside. You signed an agreement with Waste Management? And they said, yes. And see how I flipped it? Now I signed an agreement instead of contract. And then he said, yes. And I said, now I see that you have a cable going in your store. You signed an agreement with them. And he said, yes. I said, well, that's good because we don't sign agreements. We don't sign contracts either. We sign agreements. And I just have a little agreement. It's not a contract. So then I said, oh, when you explain the terminology, just a little different. People are always afraid of the word contract. I don't use the word contract. I use the word agreement. I said, look, it's an agreement for the ATM to sit in your store. And he goes, oh, okay, fine. Now, sometimes it doesn't work, but a lot of times it does. So I hope that tips helps you guys. Point number 2. We always ask for a location agreement to be a 5-year agreement or more. Because a lot of times they'll say, well, I don't want to sign a 5-year agreement. That's just too long. And how I start to counter that is I say this. They're like, well, how long have you been here in business? And they say, oh, I've been in business 10 years. I said, so do you plan on being here another 5 to 10 years? And said, oh yeah. I said, well, I'd like to stay. As long as you stay here, I'd like to be here because I want to build a great relationship with you. We're going to do wonderful things together. We're going to bring a lot of people in your store. We're going to provide cash for those people who come in the store. And I want to be in business with you as long as you're in this business. And most of the time, that strategy works. So if you're thinking about starting a profitable ATM business but didn't know where to start, stay to the end of the video and I will share you a checklist on how to start the ATM business the right way, even if you have 0 experience in business. In this checklist, I will share with you the 5 things you need to start a profitable ATM business so you can build a passive income source for your family. You'll have a clear roadmap towards ATM business success so you can earn between $250 and $1,500 of passive income every single month. All right, let's get back to the video. Point number 3. You know what, Phil, I won't go with a 5-year agreement, but I'll go with a 1-year agreement. I'll say, no problem. Our minimum to do business is 3 years, but if you don't want a commission on 1 and 2 years, we don't pay commission. So we'll put the ATM in business in here. You can just sign that 1-year agreement or 2-year agreement. You won't get any commission, but that way, you know what, if you see that it works in 2 years, then we can start paying commission on year 4, 5, and 6 when you decide to re-sign that agreement. And a lot of times they say, wait a minute, you're gonna put the ATM in my store and I'm not gonna get any commission? I'm like, yeah, well, that's what you want. You don't want to sign an agreement for 5 years. That's our minimum, that's our standard for us to pay commission. You don't want to do that. They say, okay, fine, I'll sign it. If I don't get commission, there's no point in me having the ATM. Even though I always explain, yes, there is point in having the ATM because it brings in people in your store, provides a need for cash, and that cash is spent in their store. I always re-emphasize those points. But if they don't want to sign a 5-year agreement, then we just minimize their commission until it's a bare minimum at 3. And if it's not 3 years, then we don't pay any commission. Point number 4. Now here again, I'm the store owner. Phil, I'm a handshake guy. I do a handshake. I've been in business for a long time. That's the way I do business, and that's the way it is. And I said, look, I'm a handshake guy too. I believe in it thoroughly, except for one little challenge. My bank, which gives us the money for the ATM, they want to see a location agreement. Because we put the money in there, they want to verify this is a legitimate business, and they need to see a location agreement for this ATM. The other person who wants to see an agreement is our insurance company. In the event that there is something that happens, that somebody breaks in the store, they steal the ATM, they steal the cash, they bust in there, my insurance company won't cover me unless there's an agreement. So therefore, I need that agreement. Now, you want my insurance to pay in case something happens. Oh yeah, I do. I want you guys to be made whole. Okay, great. That's why I need a location agreement, because without it, I can't put the ATM here because now I'm vulnerable for that ATM. And you know what? I've been in business for a long time. I want to stay whole, and I don't want to put myself out there without being covered for insurance. And point number 5, hear this one a lot. Phil, I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I'm thinking about selling in a few years. I don't want to be entangled in an agreement and I can't get out of, or it hurts my future sale of the business. I say, you know what? I totally understand. If and when that does happen, then you know what we'll do? We'll sit down with the new owner and you'll introduce me, and you know what? Your agreement will subside, and then we'll just sign with a new agreement with the new store owner. And you know what? I'm not going to impede you from any kind of sale, because if that's what you want to do, you want to have an exit strategy. I fully understand that. You know what? You worked hard your whole life, and now you want to hit the exit sign, enjoy the rest of your life. I do understand that, and I'm not going to hinder you in any way, shape, or form from this. So usually when they hear that terminology, that lingo, they feel more comfortable. Again, we always talk about, we have to like, know, and trust, and they have to like you before they trust you, and they have to trust you before they'll do business with you. So one of the things you're doing through this whole conversation, if you get any of those arguments, is you're overcoming those challenges, and that's how you do it. So if you're interested in starting your own ATM business, so I want to invite you to my free checklist entitled ATM Business Passive Income Checklist. The 5 things you need to start a profitable ATM business, where I'll share with you the 5 things you need to start a profitable ATM business so you can start earning passive income, make more money, and spend more time with your family. So if you're ready to start your ATM journey today, click the link down below. Again, this is Phil from PDQ, Merchant Enterprises, and the ATM Mastermind Group page, where we buy your freedom back one transaction at a time. Thank you guys very much.